Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to 2016 Money in the Bank ladder match. Was crazy. We gonna get right into it, though.
2016 has always been that one year that so many people look back at with so much fondness. Whether you want to talk about music, movies, sports, or just life in general.
And 2016 overrated as fuck, bruh. Y'all Gen Z niggas ain't lived long enough, man. Y'all Gen Z niggas ain't even lived that long enough, bruh. Y'all don't even know. Y'all just trying to claim y'all clinging on to 2016 with so much prominence, bruh. Bruh, I done lived through nigga, y'all done lived through what now? For most of y'all Gen Zers, y'all done lived through Bush. Y'all done lived through Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump again. Yeah, y'all ain't lived through that many shits. Y'all ain't lived through that many shits, man. Y'all ain't going, man. Stop saying 2016, man. It's the greatest year of all time, nigga. 2001 exists, 2003 exists, 2004 exists, 2005 exists, 2006, 7, and 8 exists, my nigga. Stop it. Stop it, please. Stop it, bro. I've experienced better years than 2026. Not to say that 2026 was a bad year, but y'all overrate that shit, bro. That ain't the best year, bro. It's not the best year, bro. I've experienced better, bro. 2016 is a good year. It's a good year, but it's just another year, bro. Y'all took 2016 and said, we're gonna make this the greatest year of all time. No, nigga. No, stop it.
Something was in the air and life was good. Except when we lost Harambe.
Man, fuck Harambe.
I'm still thinking about you, big fella. Rest in peace. But for your boy, that was also the year I became the most obsessed I've ever been with the WWE. Which is weird, right? Because when you think about it, if we keep it a buck, 2016 didn't exactly start on the best note. The big dog Roman push was still going strong and the hate was only getting stronger. The injury bug had really taken its toll going into that year with guys like Cena, Rollins, Orton being out, Daniel Bryan having to retire temporarily. And do I even have to talk about WrestleMania 32?
Nope.
But after that bum ass show, the WWE started pushing what they call the new era. And unlike 2026, where we hear that what feels like every other week, it actually felt different. I mean, for starters, the Authority stopped terrorizing us with 30-minute promos every Monday. Thank the Lord. But also, NXT was only getting bigger and better. You had the Cruiserweight Classic starting up. And on the main roster, the brand split was on its way back, with SmackDown going live on Tuesdays. And for the first time in a while, it felt like WWE had some momentum going into the summer. And things actually felt worth watching. And the first big show of the summer was none other than Money in the Bank. And coming out of Extreme Rules the month before, a lot for that show was set into motion. Sure, the large canine that everyone except me hated was still WWE champion, but it was all good because the man was back. After 6 months on the shelf, Seth Rollins made his big return at the end of Extreme Rules, laying Roman Reigns out and making it clear he was back to reclaim the title that he never lost. I remember being so hyped about this too because look, I've always liked Roman, even back then. But Seth was my guy at the time. And the reaction he was getting was absolutely nuts when you think about it. The same guy that tore down the Shield, the Authority's golden boy, the guy that when he was champion throughout 2015 ran from everybody, was the biggest weasel in the company. That same guy was now being cheered like he was a savior. Even though WWE opted to keep him as a heel for some reason, despite everyone wanting to cheer Seth and nobody wanting to cheer Roman, but I digress. And while you had those two former brothers about to clash, we had a dream scenario becoming a reality. Folks, imagine telling somebody even in 2015 that not only would AJ Styles make his WWE debut the next year, but in just a few months, we'd also see him stand across the ring from none other than John Cena. Two guys who defined a whole generation of pro wrestling, but in two completely different worlds. Cena as the face of the WWE for a whole decade, AJ Styles as Mr. TNA, and even going over to dominate in New Japan with the Bullet Club. Seeing them finally cross paths for the first time, calling it special might even be an understatement. Before they could even say a word to each other, the crowd just went nuts, and for 3 straight minutes damn near, all you heard was this dueling chant, "Let's go Cena, AJ Styles." All of this honestly just felt like a fever dream, and I was just hyped, man. And at first, AJ shook Cena's hand, showing mutual respect, but it was all a trap. After Styles and the rest of the club left Cena laying in the middle of the ring, it was clear this wasn't going to be about respect or may the best man win or whatever, because to AJ, even when he wasn't here, he was always the better man. To him, John Cena's time was up, and AJ Styles' time was now. And of course, there was the yearly Money in the Bank ladder match, which on paper had one of the best lineups for this match in years. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Chris Jericho. Alberto Del Rio was here too, I guess. But then there was Dean Ambrose, the only member of the Shield who at this point hadn't even reached the mountaintop. The guy who came so close time and time again. Even at last year's Money in the Bank, the title had just barely slipped through his hands. And on the go-home Raw for Money in the Bank, Ambrose laid out the warning to his former brothers in arms. What if he was the one to win the contract? And what if, no matter who won the main event, he cashed in on the same night? And as the biggest Shield fan you'll probably ever meet, it became all I wanted to see. And that all brings us to Money in the Bank 2016. And I will forever look back at that night as one of the best nights I had, not just as a wrestling fan, but as a sports fan in general. See, I was watching 2 screens that night, and I had Money in the Bank on my laptop, but on the big screen with my family right there, Game 7, 2016 NBA Finals, Cavaliers versus Warriors.
That's probably why I'm not fond of this, because I was locked into Game 7, bro. I ain't gonna even hold you. I was locked into Game 7, bro. I was locked into Game 7, bro. I wasn't trying to watch nothing else. I was trying to see Game 7, bro. I was like, well, damn, we done got to a Game 7. Is they gonna blow a 3-1 or is they gonna win this shit? What's happening?
Yeah, I was locked so in. Damn good. And well, with it all now being 10 years ago, let's take a little trip down memory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Mo, if you don't already know. Now let's take a look back at Money in the Bank 2016.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm not fond of this. Let's take a look back. Maybe I might remember something.
So it was June 19th, 2016, live from Las Vegas. It was Money in the Bank. And first of all, shout out to the Vegas crowd on this night. They were amazing from the very beginning. Now, there was Michael Cole from the very beginning welcoming us to, quote unquote, the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view of all time. And Michael, I hate to break it to you, but that was 5 years ago, buddy. But hey, feels nice not being bombarded with ads watching a WWE pay-per-view for once. Now, the first match was a fatal 4-way tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. The New Day defending those disgusting penny belts against 3 teams that the WWE would just go on and fumble. You got Gallows and Anderson, the Vaudevillains, and the fumble that pisses me off the most, Enzo Amore and Big Cass. I'm being so real. I genuinely don't understand how these guys didn't go on to become multiple-time tag team champions. And look,
Enzo Amore
the best in the ring? No, not really. But when has WWE ever made that the end-all be-all? And man, they were so freaking over. Seeing the reaction that got on the show and seeing everyone doing the whole intro along with Enzo, like, how do you manage to fuck this up? Shout out to Enzo though. Met the guy at WrestleCon a couple months back. Really dope guy to talk to. And this match was fun for the most part. Here you have Big Cass as the star of this match, everyone eating big boots. Damn. And it really seemed like people really wanted to see him get it done, but it was never meant to be, I guess. The match did get a little botchy towards the end, specifically with the ref accidentally counting to 3, which made it seem like Enzo and Cass actually won the tag titles. And well, he got a ref you suck chant, so there you go. But New Day would actually go on to retain and continue their history-making tag title run after about 12 minutes. And it was an enjoyable match, minus the sloppy moments. The crowd was really into it, a fan favorite still won. I'd say it's a solid way to start the night. And then they cut backstage to Kevin Owens getting interviewed before the ladder match later in the night, and he gets interrupted by none other than Chris Jericho. And little did I know at the time that in just a couple months, these two would go on to be one of my absolute favorite pairings in wrestling history. I'll never forgive WWE for not having this be the Universal title match at Mania 33. I still don't understand it. But y'all want to know what the weirdest thing I actually appreciated about the show at the time? It's the fact that after the first match, the first hour for the most part, honestly could have been saved for the next night on Raw. I mean, you got Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler for the 257th time in 2016, which was actually a solid match, but I need to see it again. Then you got Natalya turning heel on Becky Lynch after they lost to Charlotte and Dana Brooke in a very whatever match. Basically, Natty was mad that she couldn't beat Charlotte in 3 pay-per-views in a row. Sounds like a skill issue to me. Oh, but wait, there's also Sheamus versus Apollo Crews on pay-per-view in big 2016. Why? I don't care. That match could have been an email, honestly. And sure, in hindsight, that probably holds the show back a little bit from being a true top to bottom classic, right? But that also meant I got to pay attention to the finals game, so I can't complain about peak hoops. By the way, for my NBA fans that are watching this, we might have to start referring to that game as the Draymond Green Memorial Game. I'm being so dead ass. That man has never hooped like that in his life. And they still lost.
Yeah.
But then right around halftime.
Yeah, that was the point. That was the point. Don't anybody and don't let nobody beat us. Draymond, we can let him go crazy. The goal was let Draymond go crazy. Anybody but Steph. Anybody but Clay. Just don't let them 2 niggas go off. Because if they start going off, then we gonna have some problems. So letting Draymond go off.
Things at Money in the Bank were about to pick up crazy because we had a dream match on our hands. AJ Styles, John Cena, first time ever. The match I never realized I wanted because at one point it just never really seemed realistic enough to even consider. But once it was first announced, shit, I needed it like SpongeBob needed water in Sandy's tree dome. Seeing AJ Styles make his debut in the Rumble earlier that year was surreal enough. But now seeing him gearing up to go against John Cena of all people, let's fucking go, man. And holy shit, that magical energy from their first face-off was just as present here in Las Vegas. The crowd already going nuts before the bell even rang. Half the fans chanting, "Let's go Cena." Half of them chanting AJ Styles. And a lot of times, WWE will try to gas certain matches and be like, oh, this has such a big fight feel to it. But this time, that was real. This had all the vibes of a WrestleMania level main event. And I can definitely say, these guys delivered. Nowadays, people don't really talk about this match as much as the rest of the Cena and Styles series. And I'm not saying it's on the same level as those other matches down the line, but this was still fantastic. These guys just clicked in this match off rip, and Cena didn't really miss a beat after his time off. And if the US Open Challenge showed us anything, it's that when he's in there with the right opponent, he can put on an absolute banger. And well, AJ Styles was arguably still the best wrestler in the world at the time, so there you go. And to think that just 10 years later, they're both just retired. Damn.
You had to bring that up, bro.
Hey, y'all, so I'm in the middle of editing this, and it just hit me. These 2 got retired by the same dude. Yo, Gunther.
My man.
All right?
My man. You don't have to remind us of that, bro. You don't have to remind us of that, bro. We know. Just give us the good memories, bro. Just the good memories. We don't need to be reminded of that, bro.
I do really like the story that they told in this one too, with AJ doing exactly what he said he would do, wrestling circles around John Cena, using his speed to an advantage, and anytime Cena would get anything going, AJ just read him like a book. Cena goes for the flying shoulder tackles, drop kick to the face. He tried to go for that sit outside slam. AJ slipped out and caught him with an enziguri. He goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle. AJ caught him with a Hurricane Rana. The 5 moves apparently had no doom in this one. One thing I really appreciated about it too was how strong they made AJ look and not having Cena do the whole Superman shtick throughout this match. For example, when AJ reversed an AA into a calf crusher, it affected John for the rest of the match. And when he finally had the chance to hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, he didn't run the ropes, he just falls right into the move, and hey, I can appreciate good psychology. But then they start having more of a back and forth, trading finishers. Cena finally hits an AA after trying over and over again, but AJ kicked out. Then AJ gets him up for a Styles Clash, but John Cena wouldn't stay down. These boys were low-key snapping, and the fans bit on every big move. Then we got a really great sequence towards the end here. AJ slipping out of the AA position. Cena pushes out of the Styles Clash position. AJ flips out of another AA attempt. Cena ducks a Pele kick and tries to get him into the STF before AJ slips away. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Cena ducks. He gets him up for one more AA, but they end up knocking into the ref before Cena actually lands it again, which means, you already know, time for shenanigans. because here come Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Despite AJ signing the contract on the go home, banning them from ringside, they hit the Magic Killer on Cena. They run off before putting AJ on top of him. Ref gets back in. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles beat John Cena, but there's an asterisk. And look, I get the finish annoyed a lot of people at the time. I understand it.
Yeah.
He didn't do it clean. The interference probably shouldn't have happened. Even JBL on commentary going off about how it ended. I hear you. Maybe JBL a little too much. But I wasn't tripping about it because I already knew this was just the beginning between these two. And as we know now, it would only get more legendary. And for a first time encounter, really great match still. I'd go as far to call it underrated. And at the end of the day, AJ Styles did pin John Cena. But like I said, this was just the start to something special. And then the hits just kept on coming because right after that, it was time for the yearly multi-man madness for a briefcase, the Money in the Bank ladder match. And man, when people talk about some of the best Money in the Bank ladder matches, I feel like this one gets left out of the conversation a lot. A lot of times you'll hear about the ones from the WrestleManias back in the day, or folks will even bring up the 2017 men's one or the 2021 men's, and rightfully so. This one right here though, if you ask me, is right there with those. And like I said in the intro, the amount of talent in this match was insane. You already knew this was gonna bang, and they went in there for about 20 minutes and just went off. Owens, Ambrose, Jericho.
I don't think none of these will ever compare to the ones that was at WrestleMania. All the ones that was at WrestleMania, heat. Every single one of them was heat. I don't think none of, well, except the one that Jack Swagger won. The one that Jack Swagger won, get that shit up out of here. But other than that one, yeah, they had this, bro. They good, but they not on that level. Them ones that was at WrestleMania, besides the Jack Swagger one, they all hit, bro. They was on point.
So Zayn, Cesaro, even Del Rio went crazy from the jump. And we know how these matches go. People flying, ladders being used as weapons, the usual Money in the Bank craziness. And I actually like the tie-ins of the different feuds going on at the time. Chris Jericho yelling at Dean Ambrose about the 69 thumbtacks from Extreme Rules while slamming the side of a ladder on him over and over. That had me in tears back then and when I just watched this back. And then you got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and that was on site every time back in 2016. Including the most brutal spot of this whole night.
Yeah,
Kevin Owens got hit with a Michinoku driver off the side of a ladder. And holy shit was right, Vegas. Look, like, yo, someone get him a chiropractor. Look how he got folded, bro. Man's looks lifeless. Then you got my dog Cesaro going crazy, like uppercut trains. This man jumping off a ladder to hit KO with a springboard uppercut.
That shit was crazy.
Go around and then flinging him into a ladder face first, which looked so nasty. And the fact that Vince would be at Gorilla and see performances like this and just be like, nah, boring. I'll never understand that, man. And at one point, they set up a double ladder bridge with everyone throwing hands with each other, and the fans ate that up. And honestly, besides, you know who, if anyone else had won, I don't think anyone would have been upset. But me personally, I needed Dean Ambrose to win. It was all I wanted to see. And after Jericho got taken out with the Dirty D's off the ladder, for a second, it was just Sami Zayn near the top. But of course, who else stops him besides his biggest op? Kevin Owens yanks Sami down and then proceeds to just destroy Sami with a powerbomb on a ladder. Kevin gets on top of one ladder bridge to start the climb, but on the other side, Dean Ambrose starts climbing up with him to get to the top and start fighting before Ambrose knocks KO face first into the ladder and sends him crashing down. Ambrose starts to climb as the fans go nuts. The coast was clear. He unhooks the briefcase, and Dean Ambrose, thankfully, was Mr. Money in the Bank. Again, such a slept on Money in the Bank ladder match, and honestly, this was my match of the night, which is crazy because they had to follow Cena and Styles, but all these guys absolutely cooked. So many insane spots, not a single dull moment throughout, so kudos to them. But now, with Ambrose holding the contract, the main event became just a little more interesting because the first part of Dean's warning to Roman and Seth came true, and all I could hope was that we'd see him actually get it done. Then, there was a U.S. title match between Rusev and Titus O'Neil before we got to that.
Don't nobody care about that shit.
But then that's when I decided to just pause the show and lock into the fourth quarter of Game 7, which, absolute peak. And apparently I didn't miss much anyways, besides Titus kissing his son on the mouth before getting dog walked by Rusev. And
damn.
Yeah, I think I'd rather watch the Warriors choke a 3-1 lead. And well, after seeing my favorite athlete of all time complete the greatest comeback in maybe sports history, I went back to my room, I turned Money in the Bank on, I skipped right to the main event, And little did I know, my night was only going to get better. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Yes, they're still calling it that. The big one-on-one that was 2 years in the making since the Shield broke up. The match we were supposed to get back in Survivor Series before Seth got injured. And now with Seth back, we were getting it, but with the roles reversed. Seth as the challenger, Roman as the champion. Speaking of roles though, I gotta be real. Like I said in the intro, the one thing I didn't like about this whole thing is WWE keeping Seth heel after he came back. Like, I get it, Roman's their guy, but bro, damn near nobody liked him, and people were just ready to cheer for Seth. They even dropped the WWE 24 documentary on the network about Seth and his whole recovery from his knee injury, which painted him in such a sympathetic light. But nah. You guys should boo him actually, though. Whatever, bro. This was a pretty good main event though, man. The crowd was hot for it, and Seth and Roman have just always had this chemistry with each other, as we'd see over the years, and they did their thing here. You already know though, everyone was so behind Seth while they were so against Roman. I swear, this man could have done like a Swanton 450 and still got told he still sucked. The match did start kind of slow, which
that is true.
Did just come back from his knee exploding, but he didn't really lose much of a step. And the match dynamic was kind of interesting. Roman kind of using his power advantage to dominate the early parts of this match, but he was also kind of acting like a dick about it. And in some ways, it's a snapshot into the future of how good Roman could be at wrestling like a heel, which makes me question, again, why didn't they just do the double turn? It is what it is. There is one move Roman pulls out here that he had in his bag for a little bit, turning a Razor's Edge into a sit-out powerbomb, and I'm mad he hasn't done that in years. Genuinely one of his best moves. And once the match actually got going, it was a great back and forth. Superman punches, frog splashes, buckle bomb into the Superman punch, big move after big move, but nothing was really working. Roman even goes for a spear through the barricade on the outside, but Seth moved out of the way. He gets Roman back in the ring, goes for the pedigree, but Roman pushes Seth back into the referee, hits a spear actually, but Seth had just enough time to recover and kick out. And then you get one of the coldest reversals I'd ever seen up to this point, which is a sequence that has become a staple in any match involving these two. Roman lining up Seth for another spear. He goes for the kill.
And then he turns it into a pedigree.
Pedigree in midair, and bro, this shit got me out of my seat when I first seen this. The timing was so perfect on that, and the crowd popped like crazy. Everybody thought that was it. But in such a close near fall, of course, it wasn't enough for Roman to stay down. It felt like, well, damn. Super Roman was gonna do it again, wasn't he? Because there was no way he was already losing the title in just 2 months anyways. But then Seth didn't even hesitate to get Roman back up, nails one more pedigree right in the middle of the ring, but Roman's gotta be kicking out again, right?
Nope.
Wrong. 1, 2, 3, clean as a whistle. Seth took back the title he never lost.
And then Dean Ambrose cashed in.
Roman was actually about to be suspended for a wellness violation, but we didn't know about that until a couple days later. So in the moment, this was pretty shocking, honestly. And you already know the fans were ecstatic. Roman's terrorism at the top was over, and Seth completed the journey back. He was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion again. He gets up, he's in the middle of the ring, lifts the title, he's back on top, he's reclaimed what was his. But this wasn't Seth's night to have a happy ending, because what goes around always comes right back around. Dean Ambrose's music hits, the fans start going crazy, I start jumping around my room in excitement because, ladies and gentlemen, he was actually doing it. Seth staring down the ramp, waiting for Dean to come down, but apparently he didn't hear the saxophones in the background because Ambrose snuck behind Seth Rollins, nails him with the briefcase. The fans are going ballistic. I was just praying they weren't tricking me, and thankfully, they weren't. On the same night he won it, Dean Ambrose was cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase on the same guy who stabbed him and Roman in the back just 2 years ago. The same man who made Ambrose's life a living hell these last couple years. And Michael Cole on commentary talking about Seth looking at a ghost from his past. Perfect. Bell rings, Ambrose scoops Rollins up. Dirty deeds. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose finally reached the top of the mountain. Dean Ambrose was finally the WWE champion. And bro, the elation I was feeling in that moment, I can't even put into words. I don't know if I've said this on camera before, but the Shield is literally my favorite thing WWE has ever done. And to see all 3 members in one night be WWE champion, I couldn't be happier. And a crazy fact that gets left out a lot when people talk about this is the fact that all 3 of them pin one another for their first WWE Championship. Seth pinning Roman at Mania 31, Roman pinning Dean at Survivor Series 2015, and now Dean ending the cycle with him pinning Seth here at Money in the Bank. Just legendary, dude. And look, it wasn't the most shocking cash-in ever, far from it. They literally spoiled it to us the week before that this was probably gonna happen. But man, I didn't care. You see, sometimes when you watch wrestling and you really want to see something happen and then they actually pull the trigger on it, there's almost nothing like that feeling, no matter how unpredictable it can be. Yep. It's truly one of those type of moments that remind you why you love professional.
Now they just like to pivot and shock you now. It's like, oh, you already know that's going to happen? All right, well, watch this. Watch us do this. Huh. And then it's like, okay, so what are we going to do moving forward with it? Oh, we're just going to revert back to what we did before. We just wanted to shock you. I hate WWE right now.
Wrestling. And I remember as Ambrose was celebrating, my excitement went right through the roof when I realized in that moment the Shield triple threat was on the way, and life was good, man. What a night. Shout out to the Cavs and the Warriors. What a game. Peak hoops. Fuck you, KD, for ruining that rivalry. And shit, forget the first hour of the show. Those three big matches all delivering makes up for it, in my opinion. Cena and Styles, regardless of the finish, was a banger and a great way to start that rivalry. The ladder match for the contract deserves so much more love than it gets, and the way they used it to set up the main event, with Rollins and Reigns having a damn fine match, and the cherry on top, with Dean Ambrose cashing in the contract and winning the title for the first time. Chef's kiss, man. So well done. And say what you will about the Ambrose title reign afterwards, but on that night, you couldn't tell me shit. This was cinema. And with that, the summer of 2016 was only heating up. The draft was around the corner. The Shield was set to clash. Cena and Styles still had unfinished business. This was an exciting time, dude. And the fact that this was 10 years ago, can time please slow down? But I will forever love this show for pretty much being the kickoff for my favorite period in WWE history. So shout out to Money in the Bank 2016. And that's gonna be it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. How y'all feel about Money in the Bank?
And I only remember Cena and AJ, the Money in the Bank match, and Seth versus Roman. That's all I remember from this, bro. Every other match from here, I have no recollection of the events that have occurred. I'm just sorry. That's just how it is. I don't recollect any other events that have occurred at this event other than the three matches that I just named. But anyways, though, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. That's crazy. That shit happened the same night as Game 7. Yeah, knowing me, I was locked into Game 7, bro. There was not, you couldn't tell me shit that night. I was not trying to do anything else but Game 7, bro. But other than that, though, man, that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, deuces.